Hey guys, glad to have you watching. Today I will show you my favorite colony. These beautiful red ladies are called Camponotus Floridanus and are by far my favorite. They have a beautiful red coloration and have stunning and impressive majors. They are bigger than the regular workers and have a larger head as well, filled with muscles to power up their mandibles. The colony is growing a lot faster than expected, and I think the colony reaches over 1,000. They have a big appetite and eat everything I offer them, like worms, cricket, or their favorite, dubia roach. Their carbohydrates come from jelly and sunburst and nectar, but sometimes I'll drop in a sugar cube as well. What I like most about these ants is that they behave a lot different than the rest of my Camponotus colonies. They are active and really aggressive. As soon as I put my hand or tweezer in the setup, the ants crawl on my finger instead of running away. They will start biting as soon as they get the chance, and as you can tell, she's trying really hard. It's hard for the workers to get a grip with their mandibles. But even if they do, like on your fingertips close to the nails, it doesn't hurt. Besides showing their affection by biting, I love that these ants use warning signals as soon as there is danger. Now listen closely to the next clip. I'm sorry for the footage. It was taken with a phone to capture the sound, but as you could hear, these ants make vibrations by tapping with their gaster. I have only seen this before with my Nicobarensis colony. The Nicos try to hide, while the Floridanus gathers on top, waiting for the attack. And with all the remarkable behavior, we're not even done yet. The colony seems to love the decorations I am giving them. They chose to nest in this skull, and I can hear you thinking, that's pretty amazing, ants crawling out of the eyes of the skull. And yes, it does look amazing, but the ants use a lot of the sugars to make the entrance smaller. And they also bring dead insects to the inside of the skull. And besides having no idea how clean the inside of the skull is, it's pretty hard to do maintenance as well, when their feeding ground is next to one of their nests. And that, combined with them being aggressive and biting, doesn't make this ideal. This is how their outworld looked like right in the middle of moving. And as you can imagine, cleaning the inside was getting a pain. In times of feeding, the outworld is swarmed with ants, so I decided to give them a second outworld, since I had big plans for them for a huge themed outworld. The problem with the second outworld was that the ants took their sugars and dragged them all around the entire setup. I was going to miss this view a lot, but I had something way better and bigger. I have used the Colloseum before as an outworld decoration, but at first I wanted to keep it for my Nicobarensis colony. But I really wanted to fill up the empty spaces in the Antheap nest. And also the quality ants nest. I really hope to achieve that by giving them a huge outworld and clearing out the skull. I used a new glass aquarium and started by adding a tube connector from Antheap. Afterwards, I made sure to remove the sealant from the top with a knife. This is to prevent the ants from escaping when using PTFE. I covered the Formicarium with aquarium sand. This will give stability to the Colloseum, the water towers and or the test tubes, and will give a really nice contrast when I'm using my camera. I'm using a remotely controlled LED strip and placed it in the Colloseum. All I had to do now was place the Colloseum, connect the wiring and move the colony. I used a smaller tube so it would fit together with the wiring from the Colloseum. I filled up the remaining gaps with some cotton. I used a larger tube to put over the smaller tube, and I glued everything together with hot glue, and I made sure I went all the way around. It looks pretty permanent like this, but the hot glue can easily be pulled off when it's no longer needed. All I had to do now was apply an escape barrier. I'm using PTFE since this looks a lot better than talcum. Disconnecting old setups and tubes is always a hassle, but luckily the biting was minimal and there were no escapees. Usually I hold my finger on one side while I fill the other side up with cotton. I'm glad these ladies don't have a stinger. Now I could use my tweezers to get every ant over in the new outworld. As you can see, the ants are eager to climb on the tweezers towards my hand. All I had to do now was flick the tweezers, and due to the vibrations the ants easily fall off. It took me 3 hours in total to move them from their old 2 outworlds to their new huge outworld. But now let me proudly present to you the Colloseum. Finally, the Colloseum is back, and I'm really happy I chose to use them with the Floridanus. The red light coming from the LED, which is shining on the ants, looks pretty amazing. Future shots and time-lapses are going to be epic. Ants eating with the Colloseum in the background. You can click the link above to see my previous colony, which was using the Colloseum as well. After maintenance or after a big move, I always give my colonies a treat. Usually this colony received 3 adult dubia roaches, but this time I gave them 3 different feeder insects, starting with a worm. The nutritions aren't as good as cricket or roach, but the ant seems to love it. The ladies also received a small cricket, and it didn't take long for them to pull it apart and drag it into the Colloseum. I'd rather not feed them cricket, or at least not these small ones, since they're able to pull it in places where I am unable to clean. But sometimes exceptions must be made. And at last, our absolute favorite, 2 adult dubia roaches. These roaches are big, have decent nutrition and are harder to drag along the setup. So it's a good meal and very little cleaning. I love watching the ants getting comfy while exploring their new outworld. Happy to see that most of the brood is in their nest and not in the Colloseum. The only thing that the colony is missing right now are carbohydrates. And I have something really special for them. The ants will receive some Beetlejelly, and it will be served on Antheap's new Beetlejelly spiral tower. They designed this beautiful tower to show the ant trails they make towards their food by leaving a pheromone trail. I made some time lapses and will post those at the end of this video. Now I'm hoping the colony won't make a big mess out of it, since it's a lot higher than usual. I think the Colloseum turned out pretty amazing, and I'm glad I have it back to use in the ant room. What do you guys think? I think there will be some amazing shots for in the future, and I have a really nice idea when a colony gets a little bigger. It's unfortunate that I was not able to make them a themed outworld due to the lack of time, but this Colloseum suits them really well and gives a nice vibe in the ant room. If you got this far watching and you enjoyed my content, I would appreciate it a lot if you would like, comment and subscribe. Next weekend I will be showing you my small Tetraponera rufonigra colony and their amazing new setup. I have made them a really cool Formicarium where they can chew through cork to create more nesting space. Subscribe if you don't want to miss out. And as promised, I will show you the time lapse, and I'm really hoping to see you all next week. Bye bye!